known Jim longer than anybody currently working at Channel 3 because I was there the day he walked in 1985. I was the weekend 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock weekend news anchor, and Jimmy was hired to be the weekend sports anchor. So we worked together, and he was quite something. You could see he had talent right off the bat. You could see the talent was right there when he walked in the door, and that would be in 1985.
Doug Deacon said he was probably one of the most energetic people he'd ever met in his life. Was he like that at work on a regular basis?
Well, what you heard on the radio and what you saw on the television is what you had face to face. He was always moving and certainly always talking sports. I mean, we talked about other things, of course, over the years, but he was very energetic and brought a lot of energy to everything that he did.
Why do you think he was so beloved by so many throughout the state of Ohio?
I think Jim Donovan tapped into something. He was not only good in sports reporting, he was not only good in play-by-play, but he was a fan not only of the Browns and the Guardians and the Cavaliers and Ohio State Buckeyes and other Ohio teams. He was a fan of sport itself, and I think that just came through. He had a God-given ability to just see something as a play-by-play and report it. I mean, what he saw is what he reported, and he was always right on with it. So that energy that he brought came through the microphone and came through the camera and went into the ears and the eyes of the listeners and the viewers.
He's to the 30, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5, touchdown, Nick Chubb!
He actually brought that energy right into your living room or right into your car radio or wherever you were listening to his sports reporting and play-by-play. That to me is a talent, and not everyone has that. You just don't get that, but God gave him that.
Steelers Browns, glad you're with us. Lights flash. Couch with 2 seconds to go, being chased. Couch steps up, heaves one down the near sideline to the right. Looking for Kevin Johnson. Ball is tipped. Johnson got it! He got it! He got it! Touchdown Browns!
I remember listening to him carry on about a soapbox derby with the same amount of enthusiasm that he did Major League Sports. And you would think the soapbox derby was it. Same with the Revco Cleveland Marathon back in the day.
Yeah. He brought it always, and that year that he worked for NBC at the Olympics, and I forget exactly where this location was, and the year that he was working, but I know he covered water polo. Same thing. He brought that energy right to water polo.
Do you think that Jim Donovan will be remembered in the same vein as Joe Tate, Herb Score, and Nev Chandler, all iconic sports broadcasters from Northeast Ohio?
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. He will be remembered that way. It's already been said. He's on the Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasting in Northeast Ohio, in all of Ohio. He's on the Mount Rushmore of it already. Yes, I think he will be long remembered for what he brought, and long remembered because of how we felt when we watched him and how we felt when we listened to him. That was so vital.
When a colleague of a journalist passes away and a journalist has to report that passing, how difficult is that? Because you have to maintain your emotional composure despite the fact that you too are mourning a loss.
Yeah, we're going to do that. In fact, because I'm going to be live on WKYC television, special 7 o'clock report, and I'm going to be one of the people who's going to be live. And I know that, I will have that lump in my throat because this is like the passing of a family member. We were close, But you still have to do your job, and you still have to go out there and give the public the information and the feeling that it needs to convey for you to convey the story. So it has its moments, but at the same time we suck it up and do the best that we can. But at the same time we cry. And I have covered events like this that were not sports oriented, but I have had that same feeling inside of me when I've covered the passing of someone else.
And I just used to just watch him talk about sports over in the sports area, and hear those guys in sports talking. They give you the show before they came out here to do the show, but he knew sports and was loving. And one story I want to tell you. We went fishing. We had a fishing derby, and we went out on the Channel 3 fishing boat. And Jimmy and I and two others were on the boat, and we were catching walleye in this fishing derby, and we had a camera. We were making a promo out of this, The Guys Go Fishing. And as I'm pulling in the walleye, Jimmy says, "You got to move your hips, Leon. You got to." So I'm moving my hips like Elvis Presley singing "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog" and pulling in the walleye. That's what made the air. We love Jimmy.
The day after Jim Donovan passed away, the Cleveland Browns upset the Baltimore Ravens 29-24 in a spectacular home game that the team dedicated to Jim Donovan. Here's what happened after the game.
Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry making it all the way to Jimmy's house, where they hand-delivered a game ball to Jimmy's wife Cheryl and his daughter Megan. This was Stefanski in the locker room right after the win, dedicating this to Jimmy.
I told you guys I would love nothing more than to give this game to the family of Jim Donovan. Jim loved the Cleveland Browns. He loved you guys. Okay, we love him back. We will be there for his family. This one's for Jim. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
When we come back to Ohio Sports Magazine, we're going to look back on the Browns' 1995 departure from Cleveland. Up next on the Ohio News Network.
Rothman and Ice.
When the talent balances out and you don't have your guys up front hunting the way that they need to hunt, it can expose guys because of how long they have to cover.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Gambling too much or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, pub gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is here for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Meijer holiday deals are here. Shop now and find gifts for everyone on your list. Like a Gourmet 7 or 8 quart air fryer, just $59.99. Save $40. Buy one, get one 40% off on Barbie dolls and play sets. Buy one, get one 40% off board or card games. And Falls Creek or Colorful Planet kids sweaters for $12.99. Count on Meijer to help make the holidays extra special. Shop even more great holiday deals like these in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo woo woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a thump?
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never.
And the sound then goes yip yip woo woo woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
the unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
I'm John O'Hurley, and I support Paralyzed Veterans of America because our heroes have sacrificed so much for our independence.
I had just come home. I had noticed my legs were swelling. Next thing I know, it was 3 weeks later. I was paralyzed. PVA has brought me back to life.
While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open. It left me paralyzed. I just don't think my family would be as happy as they are without the support that I received from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 75 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has kept a promise to never leave a fallen hero behind. That's why Paralyzed Veterans of America is providing specialized medical care, life-changing treatments, benefits our heroes earned, the jobs they want, and the accessible vehicles and homes they need. Our paralyzed veterans have helped us live the lives we enjoy today. It's our turn to give them the best lives possible. To learn more, go to pva.org today.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
It was a dark day in Cleveland sports history in 1995 when Art Modell moved the Browns to Baltimore. Cleveland was without football for a very long 4 years. Leon Bibbs with us. How did Cleveland lose the Browns?
Well, depends on who you talk to. If you were talking to Art Modell, he would tell you City Hall did not do enough of what it should have done. And if you talk to City Hall will tell you in 1995, the Browns, owned by Art Modell at that time, did not do enough of what the Browns should have done. So it may be a little bit on both sides, probably. But that's how we lost it. Art Modell said he was losing money on the team, and Baltimore had offered a better deal, and so he moved the team to Baltimore. I had the chance to interview. In fact, I did the first interview of Art Modell. It was for television, but it was over the telephone when it was announced that the Browns were moving. And I had a show I was working at the ABC station in Cleveland, WEWS at the time, on a program called The Weekend Exchange. And we actually made a phone call to Art Modell's home, and he answered the phone, which surprised me. But he did answer the phone at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we talked about the departure of the team. And I remember that he was quite poignant. He was quite pointed in what he had to say. Just elected to move the team for financial reasons, and did. And it struck a nerve. I mean, it hit Northeast Ohio very hard. I mean, we were without a team, and then when the team pulled out, I mean, it was that 4-year period. It was just crazy.
Well, and they did it under cover of darkness. I remember my father telling me he got a call from the captain of the 3rd Precinct saying that there was a convoy of trucks headed east on the Shoreway. And we knew exactly what was going on the minute we found that out. And every Clevelander, even to this day, that still is a thorn in our side. And we've talked about the impact that the Browns' departure had on Northeast Ohio emotionally, but it also had an impact on the city economically and just in terms of the city's overall resolve. Do you remember what that was like?
The city was rebuilding, had begun a comeback. Cleveland is often referred to as the comeback city. And then when the Browns pulled out and left us without a football team for 4 years until City Hall. Mayor Michael White and others were able to get the NFL to grant a new franchise, and that we would keep the colors and keep the name and keep the history. Until that happened, I mean, we were just kind of in the doldrums. But I remember calling Art Modell that day when it was announced. I mean, this was heavy stuff. And I said, Art, I told him who I was. We were on television, and we were on the telephone, and we're on television. And I said, people are saying, and we're all saying, how could you move our team? And he said, I can remember his words in the center of his voice. Well, Leon, that's where you got it wrong. It's not your team. It's my team. Oof. And that's when it hit me. I mean, this is on live television, you know.
See, and I remember you telling me that story, and the minute that I heard that, all I could think about was, why couldn't we be like Green Bay and own the team ourselves, and then this would be problem solved?
Right, problem solved, but it wasn't to be. But I talked to former Mayor Mike White, in fact, just last week, 10 days ago or so. I talked to former Mayor Michael White, who was the mayor at that time, and we chatted about that, and he told the story of how he fought like crazy to get the NFL to grant a franchise in this town, and how that the Baltimore team could not use the name Browns. They had to become something else, the Ravens, and how we fought like crazy to get a team back, and how he and Paul Tagliabue, the NFL commissioner at that time, went head-to-head on this fight, and Mike promising him that however it ended, Tagliabue would know that he had been in a fight with Cleveland. There would be blood on the floor. Some would be Mike's, the mayor's, and some would be Tagliabue's. However it ended, they would both know they were in a fight. And that's the way Mike White told me, Mayor Mike White explained it to me.
When, they say hindsight is 20/20, when you look back on that time, almost 30 years ago, do you think that move could have been prevented?
Perhaps, probably. But it had long been it had long begun to fester when the Cleveland then Indians moved to out of the stadium. The stadium was owned by Art Modell at the time, and when they moved out and we built a new stadium at the Gateway area where the Cleveland Guardians currently play, when that was built in 1994, Art Modell lost his biggest tenant, and the tenant was the Cleveland baseball team. Things began to go downhill. And then when the Cavs moved from Richfield, Ohio, in between Cleveland and Akron, when they moved back downtown next door to where the Cleveland then Indians were playing, Modell was left out there on the lake, and we had these two new sports palaces for the baseball team and for the basketball team. But the football team was still playing in the old cavernous Cleveland Municipal Stadium, and I think things didn't sit right with Modell at that time, and his pockets were not as deep as the pockets of today's NFL football team owners. And so he hatched that deal to move to Baltimore.
The Browns played their final game at Cleveland Municipal Stadium on December 17th, 1995. Obie Shelton from ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland takes us back.
The tickets show a bunch of Bengals tackling someone with a Colts helmet, the old Baltimore symbol.
That's disgusting. Art don't even know how to print tickets.
Coincidence? An honest mistake? Fans don't think so. The tickets were printed before the season.
He sold his team out a long time ago.
The final seconds of the final game was the final chance to party and bark in the dog pound, to shout a mean chant at the owner who broke the town's heart. Entire rows of seats were ripped from the floor, passed down the stands, and thrown to the ground. Firecrackers flew from the dog pound, and the game was moved away from it. But when the final gun sounded, the dog pound was the only part of the stadium still full, and players ran to say goodbye to the rowdiest fans who loved them so much.
Well, we are 25 years into the history of an expansion team that we call the Cleveland Browns. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the current issues between the Browns and the city of Cleveland. Up next on the Ohio News Network.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Hey folks, it's game day and the betting's gonna be intense, Drew.
You said it, Dave, but a good pregame routine keeps betting responsible.
That's right, you gotta pause before you play.
Good call. Sports betting is hot, but it can be risky.
And pausing to set limits is an all-star move.
That's right, Dave. If you bet on sports, pause before you play to set limits, recognize the risk, and know when to stop.
Learn more at pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I don't know what I want to do. I'm just not sure that college is right for me.
Have you considered a career in dental assisting? I love my job as a dental assistant. I have flexible work hours, the money is good, and I get to work in a professional, people-oriented dental office. What I really love about my job is knowing that I give people a healthy smile.
For more information about becoming a dental assistant, contact your high school guidance counselor. Or if you are no longer in school, talk to a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association. And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
Election Day is next week, and your voice and your vote are critical for the future of public education in our state. Early in-person voting continues through Sunday, November 3rd at your County Board of Elections site. Go to voteohio.gov to find your county's location and hours. You can vote in person at your local precinct site on Tuesday, November 5th.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Voting. It's more than just a right, it's a responsibility. November 5th is Ohio's general election, and we encourage you to make your voice heard. Ohio offers 3 convenient ways to vote: voting on Election Day, early in person, and absentee voting. No matter the method you choose, you can be confident that your vote is secure and your voice will be heard. Go to voteohio.gov to learn more. Sponsored by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
The Cleveland Browns once again are attempting to leave the Cleveland city limits. The city has invoked what's called Art Modell's Law. That team, the Cleveland Browns, have taken Modell's Law to federal court, claiming it's unconstitutional. Leon, what is Modell's Law, and how did it come to be?
Well, the Modell Law is a law passed by the state legislature into law of Ohio, and the law prevents a professional team that uses a tax-supported facility for most of its home games and receiving financial assistance from playing home games. It prohibits them from moving to another location.
And when we say another location, does that imply another city like Brook Park, or does that imply any place that isn't where they're playing right now?
Well, you'll have to find a legal expert to explain that one, and I'm careful to put my toe in that water. Probably when it was done, it was probably assumed that it would be to another city, but I'm not certain how that law is being understood, and I do know that the Haslams have not gone along with that. So I don't think they're in complete agreement with that. But I cannot speak too comfortably on that issue.
Well, obviously not, because they're taking the law to federal court, and it will be up to the court to determine whether it's unconstitutional or it perhaps isn't applicable in this case. But the question begs to be asked, and this was the same question we asked 30 years ago. Is there any potential compromise between the team and the city? Could the city receive financial compensation from Brook Park? Or could we not just dome the current facility and keep the Browns where they are?
Well, there's talk of a possibility of doing something with the current Lakefront Stadium where the Browns have been playing since they returned in 1999. There's talk of possibly doming that stadium, spending $1 billion to fix up that ballpark. I think there's always room for negotiation. I personally believe that there is room for negotiations between the two sides, the Browns and the city of Cleveland. I think there is a middle point that perhaps they've not yet reached. But if they continue to talk, they may find that middle point. But I do know that the Haslams would very much like to move to Brook Park and spend $2.4 billion on a dome stadium that would have hotels, I suppose, and restaurants and bars and other things all around it. And, other cities are doing dome stadiums, and I guess the Haslams want to get in on that as well.
It's almost like they plan to build a city within a city in the Brook Park deal.
Yeah. Of course, Brook Park would welcome with open arms.
Oh, I'm sure.
All of this right next to Cleveland Hopkins Airport, Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Were it to happen, it would be on a 176-acre site in Brook Park near Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
If the Browns actually do move to Brook Park, what would you speculate might happen to that Lakefront Stadium?
Well, that Lakefront Stadium probably would come down. And there's long been talk about building up the Cleveland Lakefront. You've got the Cleveland Browns Stadium, now called Huntington Bank Stadium, right on Lake Erie. And next to it, you've got Burke Lakefront Airport, which is I forget how many acres that is. But there's long been talk about there could be condominiums and apartments and restaurants and hotels and other things like that along the waterfront.
Lena Lai from ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland tells us that the Burke Lakefront Airport situation may provide a solution to keeping the Browns downtown after all.
New renderings were released by Destination Cleveland showing a new dome stadium for the Browns, showing what it would look like in downtown Cleveland. The stadium would have 70,000 seats and a surrounding district with hotels, retail, parking, and a residential area. It would be built at the site of the current Burke Lakefront Airport. The proposal comes less than 2 weeks after Browns owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam confirmed plans to move the stadium to Brook Park.
This is a story that is generations old. I mean, the airport was built in, I'm not certain, I want to say in the late 40s. That's when they began to think about an airport there. It doesn't get as much use as it used to get, but it's still there. And it is also home of the Cleveland National Air Show. So if you would lose the airport by tearing it up and changing the lakefront as it looks now, it would be a big change. But people go to Chicago, people go to Toronto, and they look at their lakefronts, and they come back to Cleveland and say, why haven't we done something with our lakefront over the last 50 years or so, maybe even longer than that?
I want to thank Leon Bibb from WKYC TV3 for being our guest and talking about all things Cleveland sports today. And please accept my personal condolences and the condolences of the Ohio News Network on the loss of a great colleague, but even more, a very close personal friend in Jim Donovan.
Jim Donovan was just a wonderful person. And I read an account in the newspaper that when he was in the hospital and the Browns and could not do the play-by-play because of his illness with cancer, when he was in the hospital, I am told that he would watch the Browns on television, but turn the audio down, and he would do his own play-by-play for himself.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
That's the kind of guy he was. That's the kind of man he was.
Leon Bibb, thank you for joining us today. There is much more straight ahead on Ohio Sports Magazine, right here on the Ohio News Network.
Join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey for 2 whole hours of Scarlet and Gray goodness.
Thank you, football guy.
Buckeye Roundtable, Monday night at 6.
Presented by Burger King.
Your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
Meijer holiday deals are here. Shop now and find gifts for everyone on your list. Like a Gourmet 7 or 8 quart air fryer, just $59.99. Save $40. Buy one, get one 40% off on Barbie dolls and play sets. Buy one, get one 40% off board or card games. And Falls Creek or Colorful Planet Kids sweaters for $12.99. Count on Meijer to help make the holidays extra special. Shop even more great holiday deals like these in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
Remember that day I invented the everything bagel?
That was a heck of a day, Jerry. I was right there in line.
Get Eco.
ECO.
I saw the onion bagel and the poppy seed bagel and the sesame bagel, and I thought, imagine if one bagel could give you everything you need.
You changed the world that day, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO.
I think Eco is just like that for homeowners in Ohio. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians. One company, one call, everything you need.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco is a complete ecosystem of home services all under one roof.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Big things, small things, projects that require a little of this and that. Eco has the whole ecosystem equally covered.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if one day someone comes up with a new thing you can put on a bagel?
Well, I've already patented everything, Aaron. Nobody can claim everything plus one.
You're a wise man, Jerry.
I'm making a fortune, Aaron.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects. Bobcat Enterprises sells and services a full line of Bobcat equipment, including compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, and more. Plus, Bobcat rents compact equipment and attachments. With Bobcat, you can rent the machine and own the results. Keep your business local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, and find current specials and our full line of products by visiting bobcatent.com today.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll start off a little bit colder this morning with most of us in those 30s, but we climb back up to where we were yesterday afternoon, right around 60 degrees. We'll go from partly cloudy to mainly sunny skies today, and then tonight we fall through those 50s into the 40s, bottoming out in those mid-30s once again under mainly clear skies. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Erica Colora.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is ONN.
We're in the final month of the 2024 college football season. Tuesday, November 5th is going to be a busy day as the nation elects a new president, and the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will unveil their first 12-team college football playoff poll. The committee is going to rank their top 25, but only 12 go to the playoff. That starts on Friday, December 20th. Paul Feinbaum covers college football at large for ESPN, and he was a guest with Bo Bishop on ONN affiliate WBNS-FM in Columbus earlier this week. Paul was asked who he thinks is the best team in the country 9 weeks into the season.
I think it's Georgia, and that takes a lot to say, but Oregon doesn't do as much for me as I think for others. I'm not buying into some of the undefeated who are untested, and to me, Georgia has survived a very difficult path with road games at Alabama and Texas.
You used that word survived, and that was kind of the next place I wanted to go with you. I think if you go back to August, you said, all right, who are the four most talented teams in the country? Most of us would have said Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Georgia in some order. That those four felt like they were separated. And maybe Bama was there a little bit, but it was going to be those four that most of us kind of felt. And every one of them, you have two of them who have already lost. You have the other two who have had a ton of scares and quite honestly could have had more losses. I mean, Georgia could have very easily lost at Kentucky. Texas could have lost to Vanderbilt. This past weekend at the Horseshoe, they almost blew it against Nebraska, a team that lost 56-7 to Indiana the week before. What do you attribute this to?
I think the easy answer is the portal, but it's also the right answer. I mean, you just have so much movement, Bo, that there are a million unpredictable factors. I mean, I was watching a game the other night and ended up talking to the head coach afterwards, who literally ran the starting quarterback at Texas A&M out of the game. That his defense at LSU was playing so well. And guess what? It cost him the game because they made a quarterback change. And these things are happening now at a lot of places, and it has just made it more difficult. And also you have teams that are eminently talented, Ole Miss being one, and maybe Ohio State, to be determined, with so much portal transfers, and sometimes it's just not easy to find the right spot for them on the roster.
Here's the other thing that is just incredibly fascinating to me. So Ohio State will play Penn State on Saturday. You mentioned the cocktail party down in Jacksonville, Florida, and Georgia. And obviously Florida's not what it used to be, but a chance to see this Georgia team play as well. If those teams, and talking about Georgia, Penn State, and Ohio State, because obviously Florida's not doing anything in the playoff, but from the standpoint of if they're going to win a national championship, Paul, after their games on Saturday, that will be the halfway point of their seasons.
True.
And that's hard to wrap your head around for me. And I think it will be for players and coaches too.
Yeah, somebody who goes every week and you count the weeks off and you go, man, we're at week 10. It seems like it's over. It is not. I mean, part of the season is over, the part where you actually know where you're going the next week. But we are about to enter the neverland of the college football right now, and Halloween is the perfect time to talk about it because there are so many surprises ahead, and even the narrative, Bo, that we thought we knew may not be that. There's this narrative that we talked about a couple of times, that 10-2 in the Big Ten, 10-2 in the SEC is automatic. It might not be.
Yeah, I'm going to get there with you, and that brings me to the next thing I want to address, and that is a week from now when you and I are talking, we're going to be looking at a committee top 25. I don't know. I know why they're doing a 25 because they got to do a television show, and I get it. But I am worried that they're going to entrap themselves with how they rank the back half of this thing. What do you expect to see? How close of a mirror will it be to the AP poll or the coaches poll, or do you think there will be some surprises in there as well?
Yeah, I mean, so what am I most interested in, and what do I think could be the surprises? Like Indiana. What do we know about them? I think that is probably number one. Pitt, where do they fit? Where do they fall? And these undefeated teams are the ones that I'm most interested in, because I was asked by somebody this week, what happens if you have a one-loss Indiana team, meaning losing to Ohio State, versus a two-loss Alabama team? And to me, I quickly say, well, there's no way that. And then you go, well, hey, you forgot about Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. So that's whatever they say, which is groupthink. It's not one person's opinion. I think will be what I'm most interested in on Tuesday night.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Join us Monday for a Mad About Hoops season tip-off special. Catch Timmy Hall, Evil Bald Colin, and special guests as they preview the Buckeyes basketball season and the matchup with Texas. The Mad About Hoops special, Monday at 8 p.m. on The Fan.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture an oil change that's quick, not rushed. When you hear the bell, feel yourself becoming light as a feather. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today. No automotive worry, no appointment needed.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Your weekend freebie is a free large avocado. Simply use your digital coupon Saturday or Sunday. Minimum purchase required. See coupon for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo, woo, woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a...
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never...
And the sound then goes yip, yip, woo, woo, woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
the unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows. The official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Save big money on your next project right now at Menards. Transform the look of your home with a new ideal garage door. Garage doors have one of the highest return on investment on your home's value. Choose from our large in-stock selection or design your own using our free Garage Door Designer. Save big on ideal garage doors. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Saturday is game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Chevy.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Let's catch up on the Cincinnati Bengals with our Paul Keels.
It's our pleasure, as always, to talk with Jeff Hobson from Bengals.com, who we lovingly refer to as Butch. And certainly last week against Philadelphia, that loss at home, Butch, it certainly seemed to take away some of the momentum that the Bengals had built up with their 2 straight wins.
Yeah, that was a hit in the obligatory solar plexus. There's no question. A game at home and against a quality team like that, like the Eagles, that really, I think they felt like they could have got them on their way. And you know how these things, Keels, you've seen enough of these, it was there, it was 10-10, they were rolling, and then all of a sudden they weren't. And, so I think that's what they got to get back to. I think that's what they're trying to focus on is get back to how they came out in the first half against Philly and, try to get one here when the Raiders come in with Marvin Lewis.
I imagine eliminating turnovers to be at the top of the menu list, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that is a high priority. Although I got to tell you, to me, I think the game was probably lost before that on the 4th and 1. They're winning 24-17, and they can't get the yard. They had a 2nd and 2 from the Eagles from their 38, and they couldn't get the first down and couldn't convert the 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And to me, the 4th and 1 is like a turnover, you know. So to me, the game was decided there. Burrow had an interception, but even that was a bit tainted with the tip. But yeah, I think the inability to run the ball. If those short yardage situations, in this day and age, you got to be able to convert on 4th and 1. And if you don't, you're exactly right. It's a turnover.
And when we see injuries playing part of everything, especially with Orlando Brown, can you tie those together there, Butch?
I don't think so. I think, they ran the ball well for the first couple weeks of the season, and they didn't run. They didn't run it well in New York when Orlando was playing, and then They really haven't run it, and he's played half the games for the last 2 games. I'm not sure you can tie it to his injury, but overall, that is a big loss for them because he's the best left tackle in football when it came to pass protection, and the rest of his game was good as well. People were saying he was having the best year of his career. So I think the hope is if he doesn't play this week, they're just trying to get him ready for Thursday night in Baltimore, which is kind of complicates this week. It's a short week playing the Raiders, and then they got to be in Baltimore for Thursday night.
Yeah, that does. Butch, you're there every Sunday. What's the buzz been like with the fact that the Bengals have yet to be able to scratch the win column at home?
I think it's surprising. I think they had their second biggest crowd here during the White Helmet game against the Eagles. I mean, the opener, the 1 o'clock opener last month when they lost to the Patriots, that was the best atmosphere I've ever seen at a 1 o'clock game anywhere in the league. I mean, they've done a great job with the game day presentation here, and it's really they've been in top form, and it's and the fans have come out. And, I think that the team is disappointed. Both, Zach mentioned it, Joe Burrow mentioned it, Teddy Karras mentioned it after the game. We got to give these people what they deserve, So that has been talked about, Paul. I think it's before the opener against New England, you could start from the when they against the Raiders in the wild card game. From that stretch on, I believe they had like the best home record winning percentage in football, and it's from 22 to the slice of 23. So it's it's something that has definitely been emphasized this week.
Let's talk about something good. The addition of Mike Gesicki, a tight end. It has to be great to see the way he's added things to this offense, Butch.
Yeah, coming right out of Penn State where you guys are headed. I mean, the thing about Gesicki is he's so versatile. T. Higgins was out Sunday, and he basically lined up in T. Higgins' spot for many of the snaps. Now, he wasn't there for the whole game. He's able to move around. He went to the slot a little bit. But, that's, when you can use a tight end like that, the way they used him, 7 catches, converted 4 third downs, some great plays, diving catch on one, converted another. He made himself available on a Burrow scramble on 3rd and 22. So I think, he's been a really good addition. He's a guy working on a 1-year contract. He's only 2 years removed from a 70-catch season. So, he's a target, that Burrow has, when he's in the game getting a lot of snaps, it's a great combination.
Jeff Hobson of Bengals.com. If those have not checked out his site, please do so. Butch, always thanks for your wisdom.
Kelso, you're the best. Good luck down there at University Park.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Did you and your family lose Ohio Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I don't know what I want to do. I'm just not sure that college is right for me.
Have you considered a career in dental assisting? I love my job as a dental assistant. I have flexible work hours, the money is good, and I get to work in a professional, people-oriented dental office. What I really love about my job is knowing that I give people a healthy smile.
For more information about becoming a dental assistant, contact your high school guidance counselor. Or if you are no longer in school, talk to a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association. And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
Election Day is next week, and your voice and your vote are critical for the future of public education in our state. Early in-person voting continues through Sunday, November 3rd at your County Board of Elections site. Go to voteohio.gov to find your county's location and hours. You can vote in person at your local precinct site on Tuesday, November 5th.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Voting. It's more than just a right, it's a responsibility. November 5th is Ohio's general election, and we encourage you to make your voice heard. Ohio offers 3 convenient ways to vote: voting on Election Day, early in person, and absentee voting. No matter the method you choose, you can be confident that your vote is secure and your voice will be heard. Go to voteohio.gov to learn more. Sponsored by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton. ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now let's get some highlights from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Here's producer Bodie Wells to set the scene.
Thanks, Jay. On the show this week, the guys broke down how Jameis Winston and the Browns offense should attack the Chargers defense.
Guys, we haven't talked about the Chargers yet much this week, but Los Angeles has the #1 rated scoring defense in the NFL. They're allowing just 13 points per game. If you were in the offensive game planning rooms with Kevin Stefanski and Ken Dorsey, how would you try and scheme up an offensive attack against this top-rated Chargers defense, Tyvis?
Well, I mean, all those is great. I mean, but I think right now the strength of your team is in the passing game. Now, I will say, Nick Chubb is starting to look really good. He's starting to rev back up. So I would start off just typical fashion. I would always start off with giving Nick Chubb the ball, let him see what he can do, because I think if he gets the way he's progressing right now, him breaking the long 15-yard run and all of those things, like defenses see that, and they see that this man is starting to get his ways back. So as a defense, you got to respect that. Like, you have to. And once he does that, boom, I think you open up for play action and things like that. Jameis shown you that he's good enough with these wide receivers to make plays. I know they got Asante Samuel Jr. Who's the other? I can't never think of who the other corner is. I know they got Derwin James back there. All of those guys, that's really good. But I think that passing attack right now is the hot hand, and you got to roll with the hot hand. And maybe you do it backwards. You do the Kevin Stefanski way. You pass to open up the run for Nick Chubb. The question is Joey Bosa going to play? Because Joey, I think he's been out of the lineup, and if he plays, that means he will be against DeJuan Jones, which would be a good matchup, and can DeJuan hold his own on the left side? That's something that I would be thinking about.
Man, Bosa ain't played since Ohio State, man.
Chill out.
Hey, let me tell you this, man. Let's get to this, bro. The Kool-Aid is a second away from coming, Bull.
Oh, if they beat the Chargers, it's full blast.
Hey,
I don't blame you.
The Kool-Aid's coming from the heavens. Let me tell you something about this, man.
To catch the full breakdown, just search for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy their daily content covering all things Cleveland sports. We'll be back to wrap up this week's Ohio Sports Magazine show here on the Ohio News Network.
Start Reaction Monday off in style with Bobby and Beam on Morning Juice. They're talking Buckeyes at 6:20, 7:20, and 8:20, and probably all the other minutes in between.
Reaction Monday is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Meijer holiday deals are here. Shop now and find gifts for everyone on your list. Like a Gourmet 7 or 8 quart air fryer, just $59.99. Save $40. Buy one, get one 40% off on Barbie dolls and play sets. Buy one, get one 40% off board or card games. And Falls Creek or Colorful Planet Kids sweaters for $12.99. Count on Meijer to help make the holidays extra special. Shop even more great holiday deals like these in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo, woo, woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never.
And the sound then goes yip, yip, woo, woo, woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
the unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows. The official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at DewOutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine this week. I want to thank our very special guest, ONN affiliate WKYC TV senior commentator Leon Bibb, and his colleagues Nick Camino, Obi Shelton, and Lena Lai for contributing to today's show. And also thank the Cleveland Browns and WKYC for lending us some precious audio memories. Thanks to all of our Locked On podcast contributors this week as well. For Bodie Wells, Eric Reeser, and Paul Keels, I'm Jay Fox. Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine. Join us next week right here on the Ohio News Network.